girl, welcome back to the podcast. Today I'm talking about the 5 challenges that are keeping you stuck in the disordered eating cycle. Because the first step to overcome is to recognize where you are. It's to recognize which of these areas are your primary pain points. I'm going to share with you the 5 Ds keeping you trapped. Grab a notebook and pen for this one. It's time to armor up, sis. Let's get to it. Hey girl, welcome to the Her Best Self podcast. I'm Lindsay Nickel, former competitive figure skater and perfectionist, turned God-led imperfect boy mom and digital CEO. If you find yourself constantly thinking about food and wondering if you'll wake up one day free from the obsessive thoughts and behaviors controlling your life, then I've created this podcast for you because I know exactly what it's like to be a downright hot mess trapped in a destructive cycle of disordered eating. I finally found freedom, and you can too, girlfriend. So if you're ready to heal your relationship with food and body and break the chains of control and show up in your best health, then grab your favorite Tarjay journal and let's get to it so you can start living your best life as your best self. Hey girl, I'm back at you today with the D's that are keeping you trapped in disordered eating. These key challenges are so important to define, and today I'm going to break them down with you because the only way out in recovery is through. And recognizing where you have pitfalls, recognizing your limiting beliefs, the challenges that are coming up for you that you struggle with is what you're going to need in order to gain control, which is really what you're looking for, and to gain freedom. So we're going to talk about these D's. The first one, let's dive right in, is denial. This is disconnection. So C.S. Lewis says that denial is the shock absorber for the soul. It protects us until we are equipped to cope with reality. Sis, denial is the land that I lived in for so very long. And maybe you're there, or maybe you've lived there as well. But you must get real on the impact that this disorder has had over your life. You must recognize this pitfall. The first step to overcoming is to recognize where you are right now. And one of the initial stages of freedom is actually understanding and appreciating, but we'll get to that later, the stage of denial. This is where the disorder is so ingrained in your being and your identity that you truly believe everyone around you is legit cray-cray. I believed for the longest time that everyone around me was crazy or was jealous of my body or was simply overreacting. It wasn't anywhere near as bad as what other people said to me, or so I thought. The eating disorder had given me a false, cozy snuggie. Seriously. And by staying in the denial, I actually didn't have to change. If you're listening to the show, part of you knows that you're going to have to change in order to find freedom from this disorder. But by staying in denial, you're not protecting yourself, you're harming yourself. And once you get super aware of that, you can then get annoyed. You can get annoyed. You can be like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here anymore. And I'm not going to sit here and live in this place of denial. Denial does nothing for you because what you deny or what you ignore, you give power to. It doesn't mean that if you decide that you're just not that bad or you're not sick enough, that it's all going to disappear. What it means is that you're actually promoting more power. You're giving more power to the disorder for it to run rampant right over your life. And maybe you're there. If you're there, you aren't alone. But what you deny or ignore, sis, you delay. And delay is number 2. What you deny and you ignore, you delay. But what you accept and what you face, you conquer. So the second D is delay. I'm not that bad off. I'm managing. Delay is the sister of denial. Do you hear me? Now is not the right time for me. I have so many obligations and so many responsibilities. I'm super distracted. The summer is not the time that I need to be focusing on my recovery. I'm supposed to have a vacation with my family. Sis, I want you to hear yourself if you're here. If you're distracted, if you're delayed, or maybe you've been here for quite some time. Maybe you're past denial. You realize that this is an important thing that you recover from. And you no longer want to live in the denial doldrums. What I want you to hear today if you feel like you can't put your life on hold because people need you, the truth is that you can delay, but time doesn't. You can delay. You can say, you know what? Now's not the right time for me. I am going to allow these distractions to minimize my reality of where I am with this, and it's fine, and I'm fine, and everything's fine. But reality is that others aren't really your number one priority if you aren't your number one priority. Because time is going to go on. Tomorrow, the sun is coming up. Are you choosing to stay right where you are right now when you wake up tomorrow? Or do you want to do something differently? And for me, I had to go, you know what? Maybe I'm not 100% ready to recover on my own, and that's okay. Like, I've been dealing with this for a really long time. But how about tomorrow I try on recovering for my mom? Or how about if I want to be here one day to have kids, which is where I was during that time of my life, that I can recover for that. And maybe the next day it's to recover because God still has a plan and purpose over my life. If you are in a place of delay, you're disconnected, you're distracted, and just because you decide that it's not a good time to recover, time still goes on. So whether or not you want to choose to make a change in your life tomorrow or in 3 years from now, I want you to think about what could I have done with those 3 years if I decided differently today. Number 3 is discouragement. This is discontent. And it's one of the largest and the most challenging in dealing with this feeling and the windy road of recovery. Because recovery setups and setbacks are like no other. It's 1 step forward, 2 steps backwards. And sis, when the enemy can get you discouraged, he can get you to quit. Discontent and feeling uncomfortable are all part of the process. I wish I could go back to my younger self and be like, you're gonna be uncomfortable. Lindsay, you're gonna feel discouraged. Lindsay, you're gonna feel depressed. Lindsay, you're gonna feel overwhelmed. And so because I can't do that today to my younger self, I want you to hear it from me. You're gonna feel discouraged. You're gonna feel overwhelmed. You're gonna feel not ready. You're gonna want to delay. Heck, you might even still want to be in denial. But the reality is that you haven't ruined your progress. You shouldn't be further along. And this feeling of uncomfort is right where you need to be, because that means you're on the cliff of doing something great for your life. You aren't a lost cause. No matter the time that it takes, you can turn every single discouragement and every disappointment into a learning experience. It doesn't have to define you, girl. You aren't bad. But if the enemy can get you discouraged, then guess what? He can get you to doubt. And that's number 4. When you have doubt, you feel hopelessness, you feel despair, you feel depression, you feel overwhelming anxiety, exhaustion. Doubt is the evil twin of discouragement. If the enemy can get you discouraged, he can have you doubt everything, including your existence. Maybe this just isn't possible for me. It's great for her to recover, but I'm different. Sis, doubt kills more dreams than failure ever will. And so I want you to stand in your truth today and say, nope, not today. I know that I'm meant for more. I'm not going to dig up and doubt what I have planted in faith. And the last one is disillusionment. This is dysfunctional expectations, false truths, ruling your mind based on perceptions and false beliefs that truly feel real in the moment. And it's this condition of being disenchanted. I remember feeling like everything I thought was true was actually not true when I came out of denial. I remember feeling like I had to unlearn everything that I had taught myself. I had to sit with the disappointment that came once I realized and accepted that my eating disorder was actually not safe. It wasn't my best friend, and it didn't have my best interest. And it caused way too much harm for my life than it did good for my life. I wanted to get better, but I didn't want to gain weight. I wanted to have the outcome, but at the time, I wasn't ready to put in motion to do the work. Your feelings and behaviors around food and your body, your restriction, your choices that you make on a daily, they're not just who you are. That's not who you are. You weren't created to count calories. You weren't created to limit carbs. You're more. So forgive you for believing in her more than believing in you. The only way out is through recognizing your most present D in these 5, denial, delay, discouragement, doubt, and disillusionment, or maybe you struggle with all of them like I did, will allow you to gain so much more control and a healthy perspective. In order to gain that control, which is really what your brain is seeking and really what it wants, you have to separate your best self from your disordered self. Ask yourself these questions. What does my best self do versus what does my disordered self do? And what would I say to my younger self? Sis, the goal is not to banish your disordered self. This would mean that part of you was bad, and that simply isn't the case. What is true is you're learning and evolving and becoming wiser. You're stronger without the disordered self driving the bus. When your best self becomes stronger and stronger, the disordered self gets quieter and weaker. Less denial, less delay, less discouragement, less doubt, less disillusionment. More action, more acceptance, more outcomes, more freedom. My old ways of thinking got me here, but my new ways will get me out. I can feel big and I can feel full, and that doesn't mean I'm fat. I have a disordered image about my body, and I can learn a healthier way, which means treating my body with respect and nourishment. I want you to think about those statements. Are you in a state of denial? Are you delaying? Are you creating distraction out of fear of what the future holds, out of that uncertainty of where you're headed? It's okay to be scared, but it's not okay to be stuck because you deserve more and you're worthy of it. Are you struggling with chronic discouragement? Never feeling good enough, like anything you accomplish isn't enough? How about doubt, sis? Or disillusionment? Try on this question. What is my alternative? Stop saying you want change if you aren't willing. And stop saying you desire your best self if you won't allow her to be. Instead, try saying, if I do my best, then God can do the rest. Today, friend, I want you to carry on. I want you to do your best. I want you to let him do the rest because he will if you lay it down. And I want you to find yourself in these areas. Where are you struggling with denial? Where are you struggling with being distracted and delayed? How is discouragement taking over your life right now and causing you not to make choices that are for you? Is doubt keeping you here? Keeping you terrified? And what about disillusionment? Now that you know better, you can do better, and it's time for you to do better. I believe in you. I want you to say this with me today. The cycles and patterns that if I have allowed to hurt myself and others around me, those aren't a reflection of who I am. That's a reflection of what I previously did. I can choose differently. I can learn differently. I can unlearn and relearn. I can create new ways, better relationships. I can stop allowing the disordered version of me to control my life. Today is the day. It's my turn. It's my time. I can do this because I can do all things. Sis, you most certainly can. I hope you believe it today. Replay this episode. Listen to that mantra again. Speak it over your life. I'm speaking it over you right now as we speak. I hope you've enjoyed today's show. And if so, come on out and share it with me at info@lindsaynickel.com. I'd also love for you to join our community, herbestselfsociety.com. And sis, if you're looking for help and support, if you feel like you're just tired of doing this by yourself, you need a roadmap. You need somebody who's been there, done that to help guide you through recovery. I'd love to be your girl. I myself or coaches on my team would love to support you. Go on out to herbestself.co, fill out a client application, and we'll get back to you within 48 hours. I love you, friend, and I'll chat real soon. Bye for now. Oh, friend, thank you so much for letting me share what was on my heart today. My hope for this podcast is to help more women find freedom from food and body. If this has empowered or blessed you, let me know. I'd be honored for your rating and review of my show, and I'd love to connect with you in my private Facebook community. You really can move from perfection to purpose. Let's break the chains together. I'll help navigate the way. Until next time, bye for now, girl.